Hey guys, welcome back to the SFL. This is Game 2 rematch on Overgrowth LE, so let's go ahead and get it started. Alright, spawning in our top position, and I've got them correct this time, is our Zerg player, MoosyDoosy, perhaps one of the greatest names of all time. And let's not forget to do our little zoom in here. Pachoo! Spawning in the bottom position, we have our Terran player, fresh off of a victory. We have Raver. And let's see how this game goes. Let's see if MoosyDoosy can summon a comeback here. It is a best of 3, so losing one game is not the end of the world, but it's a little demoralizing to lose a game. Because then you have to win 2 in a row. Nothing too exciting going on here. The gas here is pretty cool. If you look at the Vespian, it's pretty neat. Doesn't look like a lot of the other ones. This is actually just kind of a cool map. It always feels like if you just look at the map, it's a 2-player map, and it seems like it should be much smaller than it actually is. But then when you play on it, it actually feels like a nice big map. So, personal favorite. This is one of my personal favorite maps right here. Kind of has a different feel to some of the other maps, and yeah, it's pretty neat. I like it. And that's what I'm going to talk about because there's nothing going on. Barracks coming down here, supply depot, wall off. We've all seen it 10,000 times. Gas here, pretty orthodox opening so far for our Terran player. Also orthodox for our Zerg player. Early natural here. Nothing too wacky. No proxy hatcheries or cheese or anything. Actually, I'm surprised. This is the 5th game I've cast so far for the SFL, and there's been no cheese. Just lots of macro. Very cheese-friendly map pool right now on the ladder, and a lot of people complaining about cheese, but maybe we'll run into some cheese later on. Some cheddar, or maybe blue. Who knows? SFL is a good-sized little league we got going on here, and there's plenty of games to play, so maybe we'll find the cheese later. I got my crackers ready. Just got to keep looking for it. Got a Reaper opening here. So a little bit more aggression earlier on than we were seeing in the last game. Last game was pretty boring for like 7 minutes, so I'm actually kind of happy we're going to get to see something happen here. Alright. What can you do, Mr. Reaper Man? Don't fear the Reaper. Well, he gets a worker, but he's pretty sloppy pulling it away there. I mean, those Zerglings didn't kill it, but thankfully they regenerate health pretty quickly. I say thankfully if you're Raver, not so thankfully if you're MoosyDoosy. Just earlier units all around this time. Earlier Zerglings, Reaper, 2 Reapers now. For some reason, something about that first game just made both players say, hey, let's get the units out a little quicker. I mean, if he micros them, he should be able to get these Zerglings, but, you know, all the time he's spending screwing around with these Zerglings is time he's not spending taking out drones. Obviously, they got a queen up there. It's very unlikely he would have gotten any more drones anyway. Probably going to come in here and try and get, maybe get a few drones from this natural, but the natural also has a queen. I think these Reapers are pretty much done. Other than a little poke here and there to just try and throw your opponent off. It's not going to be able to get too much more done with these. Well, I say that, but if you have a drone completely out of position, then yeah, you could probably get something done. Was that just 2, I believe? You got 2? 3. No, 1 worker killed and 2 Zerglings. I thought he killed a drone earlier, but I guess not. 3rd going up for MoosyDoosy here about the 6:30 mark. pretty similar play from Raver from the last time. We got Hellions on the way, Starport. You know, nothing too crazy. Not going mech or Thors or anything. Slight supply lead for MoosyDoosy, but he has been expanding earlier, so that's probably expected. What do we got going on here? 2 Evo Chambers and a Roach Warren? Okay, well, we're definitely going to see some Roach play. I remember when the Stefano Roach build was really popular, and that thing was really hard to stop. If you didn't scout it and counter appropriately, it would destroy you. I think that era has left an indelible stamp of fear on fast expanding Zergs who like to go Roach. Is he going to expand again? He might be. Got an Overlord scouting out this possible 4th down here. Good use of the Overlords. He's got great map vision. Just look at the vision of our of MoosyDoosy for a second. Look at all this he can see. Come down here. Raver. Very little scouted. Doesn't have much that he can see, really. It's not good going in blind. He has really no idea what MoosyDoosy is up to right now, so I don't know that he's got these Hellions here. They were pretty good against the Ling Bling last time. I were transitioning into Hellbats, but I don't know. I don't think this is going to be good against Roaches, and that's probably also what MoosyDoosy is thinking. 1-1 on the way for both players. Stem finishing up here in a second. We got a Banshee coming in. That's interesting. Widow Mines, Barracks, all to be expected. Lots of Lings. I mean, we got the Roach Warren here, but we don't actually have a lot of Roaches. So he's going Sling Bling again. Which, you know, I maybe he put the Roach Warren up thinking he might transition, but I kind of thought we'd see Roaches sooner than this. Speedlings chasing these Hellions out of the way. Hellions very powerful, but you know, if you get them surrounded, they go down pretty quickly. This Banshee doesn't have cloak. Oh, it does have cloak. So probably going to come in here, probably get a few drones out of this. There's no Spore Crawler or anything, no Overlord, or Overseer, I mean, no detection. Kind of surprised he was going for those Queens. Spore Crawler going down now, but he's going to get some kills here. Let's just take a look at the kill count here. 4 workers killed, 5 workers killed. Let's see what we can get up to. Okay, he's going to call that a day. He had 1 worker killed, that's 4 workers. Not the greatest Banshee play ever, but hey, 4 workers is 4 workers. You take what you can get. These Hellions being chased out. Had them in this little pocket right here. That would have been quite bad. Hellions have great speed, but they have to be able to use it. Banshee is pretty badly wounded. Lot more Zerglings coming in. Oh, and we have a Spire, so we should be seeing Mutas. I'm still a little bit confused about the Roach Warren. I think that maybe he thought he might use it, and then now he's deciding that he doesn't anymore, but we got Baneling upgrade, speed upgrade here. Always fun to watch when they have the upgrade, because they roll around. Baneling's kind of a fun unit. Design-wise, got that big old sack on the back. Alright, we have an attack on the 3rd coming in here. Raver forced to lift up. A lot of these SCVs are going to get killed, evening up the score a little bit. Baneling's coming in over here on the natural. Supply depots are down. Oh my god, Widow Mines for the win again. Taking out so many Banelings before they can really do any damage. That is just terrible. It's almost like he left the supply depots down on purpose to say, yeah, come on in. There's a whole row of Widow Mines right here. All these Zerglings being morphed into Banelings. Craziness. Absolute craziness. How many workers did he get earlier? 21 workers? Wow! That is insane! What has that done for the income here? Income vastly in favor of MoosyDoosy, even though he has a lower supply count. This counterattack here, absolutely a requirement. You really, if you have the supply lead, you have the army lead, but you're down in economy, you got to attack. You got to attack. You have to even the score. If you let your enemy run away with an economic lead, it's just going to compound on itself, and the next thing you know, you're dead. Banelings coming in here, getting some contacts. No Widow Mines to defend them. Lots of ground units going down. This has been a very effective defense by MoosyDoosy. Single Mutalisk, Hero Mutalisk taking down a Banshee all by itself. Overseers out on the field now should help to neutralize the Widow Mines. We got more Marines and Marauders coming in here. But no medevacs. No medevacs. Steady stream of bio, but not a single medevac on the board anywhere. 30 Lings. 9 Banelings, only the 1 Mutalisk, but you know what? One's all you need. Got more upgrades on the way. More Banelings, more Lings being morphed in. This does not look good for Raver. Ooh, 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 ooh. What little army Raver has is completely out of position to defend this huge, huge army. Slinglings coming in here. These are going to absolutely decimate this third base. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this is GG right here, folks. Oh, these workers have no hope. It's D-Day on the beach for these guys. So many workers killed, forced to lift up the command center again. Although, oddly enough, he chooses to run back to defend against this attack on MoosyDoosy's fourth, which was been completely wiped out. Unfortunately, didn't get to see that. I was too busy watching the fight down south. Lot of action here. Lot of action going on. Lots to see. Too much to see. Ling Bling's coming in to defend. Oh my god. This is going to be terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. This Terran army has no hope. One lone medevac is not going to keep these guys alive. More Lings, more Blings, just endless waves. But Raver not giving up. The supply count has been surprisingly evened out, and now we have a steady stream of Marines, Marauders, and Widow Mines coming in here again. The medevac count is back up again, and now we have a pretty hearty attack on the third here. It looks like Raver has found a way to claw his way back into this game. I know some of you are going to be watching and saying, oh yeah, Terran OP. I'm not going to make any comment about that. Pretty bold morphing in these Banelings right in front of the army, though. But I guess they're not going to have to go very far. Look at these medevacs are just standing, both very low on health. Where's that Hero Mutalisk when you need him? Come in here and take these guys out. Savage, savage game. Absolute anarchy. Medevac doing its best to keep that Marauder alive, but there is nothing you can do against this many Speedlings. Or Cracklings, if you prefer. All these bio units being absolutely torn apart, just overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Let's take a look at the income again. Income, huge income lead for MoosyDoosy. Supply lead starting to recover. So even though he was down earlier, he's getting it back up again. New fourth base is going down for MoosyDoosy. Fourth base over here in the bottom right-hand corner for Raver. So now we're on 4-4 again, technically. At least when this one comes online. Another huge Ling Bling army coming down here. Although, unfortunately for MoosyDoosy, Raver has had time to rebuild his medevac count, which is going to be really useful. It had a much more of an advantage when he was down to 1 medevac earlier. But you know what? He just doesn't have the ground units. And he needs to get some more detection down here. He has no detection with these units right now. A couple of Widow Mites down here in this third would have been very bad for MoosyDoosy, but thankfully for MoosyDoosy, he did not have said Widow Mines. And now this Sling army, this unstoppable 300 Sling army, is coming down here to take out yet another base. Planetary Fortress is very powerful, repels these speedlings back to the depths from which they came. The depths from whicheth they cameth. I can pronounce anything correctly, even when I'm doing it wrong. More banelings being morphed in here. Huge bio army coming up from Raver, looking to hit this third. And I feel like, yeah, MoosyDoosy's bringing his army back up to defend. Ooh, Overseer's here, gonna be able to pick off those Widow Mines. Sorry, Medevacs. You're good, but you're not that good. Is there a tank somewhere? Am I seeing tank fire? Thought I saw a tank splash, but I guess not. Must have been a mistake. Few remaining survivors here are getting ready to be taken out. Oh my goodness, this army from MoosyDoosy is just getting so huge. Of course, every time he has a big attack like that, he loses some banelings, the numbers go back down. That's the bad thing about having a Kazakami unit. But MoosyDoosy still commanding an economic lead, a slight economic lead. He commands a supply lead, going on 24 minutes now. This is quite a long game, a very exciting game, I have to say. This is the most fun game that I've cast so far. And if MoosyDoosy manages to take this one, which it looks like he probably will, I think we're going to see an extremely exciting conclusion to this best of 3. So I almost, I'm not playing favorites here, but I almost hope MoosyDoosy wins just so I get to see a third game. Terran army coming around the corner here. Does he know about this fourth? Is that where he's going? I think he's given up on trying to take that third. It's just reinforcements are too close by. Now we have the attack on the fourth down here. Meanwhile, MoosyDoosy's army going in, probably going to hit. Is he going for the fourth or the natural? Well, let's see what's going on up here. Takes out that hatchery. Army is coming home. MoosyDoosy pulling the troops back to defend. Just been a constant yo-yo this game. Both armies barely missing each other. One player attacks, the other one brings their troops home to defend. I almost feel like this is either going to end in a big engagement where one player loses their whole army, or we're going to see a base trade. I don't see any other way for this to end. Putting down some temporary creep here. Not sure exactly what it's for. These Mutalisks should be able to pick off this medevac, which is quite nice, although they were completely destroyed by those Widow Mines. They will regenerate in time, but time is not something either player really has. The action has been non-stop. Back and forth, back and forth. Another bio army being put together by Raver. Supply count is almost dead even, but when you go to look at the workers, huge worker lead for MoosyDoosy, which obviously means that he's going to have less units, but he can rebuild those units faster, one of the great strengths of the Zerg race. 18 more banelings being morphed in here, more medevacs, more marines, more everything, really. It's like Texas, everything's bigger. At least that's what I'm told. Bio army moving out here. Possibly, I'm not sure where they're going. They could be trying to hit the 4th up here in the upper left-hand corner, and once again, the armies passing each other in the night. MoosyDoosy, is he going to pull back? Yes, he is. He's pulling back. Well, he left some units behind, forcing that 3rd to lift up, although there's actually a surprising amount of minerals left at that 3rd. I guess he just hasn't really had the chance to mine it out yet. But income has got to be getting bad for both of these players. I mean, the mains have got to be mined out, naturals have got to be close to mined out, if not completely mined out. These Marines and Marauders have a pretty good position up here. They're a little bit protected by the mineral fields. This is a really important expo for MoosyDoosy. It still has a lot of resources left in it. Lings and Blings coming up here, unfortunately required to trade very inefficiently. Those medevacs are running low on energy, but they have been doing their job, keeping these units alive, lifting up, got some of those units out of there. He did manage to save the base, but, you know, at what cost? This is where that greater economic advantage for MoosyDoosy is really coming in handy, because even though he had to trade very poorly there to get him out of that base, he's able to reproduce those units so much more quickly. That seems to be the theme here. Raver has a slightly worse economy, but he's been trading a little bit better during these engagements, mostly thanks to the Widow Mines, somewhat thanks to the medevacs. Another Terran army just being absolutely destroyed by Zerglings. So many Zerglings. I mean, let's just take a quick look at the units killed, because this is getting absolutely crazy. 616 units killed by Raver. Most of those are Zerglings, admittedly. 93 workers killed by MoosyDoosy. I mean, this is just, it's like watching college basketball. The numbers are huge, and the plays are huge. It's absolutely insane. Third base has been reestablished down here by Raver, although one lonely SCV down here. This 4th base has really been the workhorse. It's been mined out far more than this 3rd has. Main base is completely mined out, natural mined out. This natural is almost mined out. Even this base has been mined out. Actually, this is starting to look bad for MoosyDoosy. He had a great economic lead, but he's been burning through so many resources just to trade evenly with Raver, that if he's having to stretch himself out farther and farther, defending more and more bases to get more resources. And I think that unless MoosyDoosy can get a decisive win, a decisive engagement where that he can then overrun his opponent, he's gonna lose by attrition. I just don't see any other way for this to end. Eventually, he's gonna mine out long before Raver does, and that's gonna be it. Supply lead has gone sharply in favor of Raver, 129 to 78, and I have to imagine most of that 78 at this point is all drones. We could take a look here. 46 drones, very little army here, 8 Mutalisks. This is nothing. Look at all these Marines and Marauders. Look at all these mines. That base was pretty important. It was a gold base. It had a lot of resources in it. You've got drones carrying resources long distance. I don't see how MoosyDoosy can hold on any longer. This is going to be GG soon. Raver has definitely taken this game. I just don't see it ending any other way. It's just a matter of time now before the inevitability of the defeat finally sinks in. Unfortunately. More units being streamed in. GG. MoosyDoosy tapping out.